Davidar, perhaps India's preeminent publisher over recent decades, and now a celebrated novelist as well. Thank you so much for coming.
To kick this whole beautiful, wonderful dialogue off, I thought we'd start asking you a few questions, after which you can start reading, and then we leave the floor open to the public. Our favorite, out of the two, I found that a lot of people said their favorite was House of Blue Mangoes. And
well, maybe I'm getting worse as a novelist.
just out of curiosity for myself and a lot of others, are they really blue mangoes?
Yeah.
Could you tell us something about that?
Well, I think there's a mango which grows in South India which is called the Neelam mango. The literal translation is blue, the blue mango. And before it ripens, blue. So it's something I remember from my childhood when I used to go to my grandparents.
Fantastic.
That form a kind of book within the book. So that's the passage I'd like to read from first. And it's called The Need for Emperors. Our gods have always looked after us through the good times and the bad. All 333 million of them. I'm not talking here just of the gods of Hinduism, but of all the deities, all the faiths that have found a place in this great land. Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Sikhism, Jainism, Judaism, and Zoroastrianism. It's quite a good arrangement when you come to think of it, because our surfeit of gods, one for every 3 or 4 of us, more than makes up for the lack of doctors, policemen, school teachers, nuclear scientists, and judges. We make a few sacrifices to our deities, show them that we love, respect, and venerate them, and in return they're expected to take care of all our needs and aspirations in this life and our lives to come. Our compact with the gods has worked quite well for thousands of years, but it is broken every now and again, and that's when we find ourselves in serious trouble. Why does this happen? If we look at it from the point of view of the gods themselves, I can think of a couple of reasons. First, our deities have plenty to do in their own world, as well as in all the other worlds they're responsible for. As a result, from time to time, they take their eyes off the affairs of men, and catastrophes result. A tsunami or an earthquake, a train wreck or a building collapse. But these accidents do not threaten the world. More serious are the times when the gods put forth their power to save mankind, and it fails. No one quite knows the reason for this, not even the gods themselves, and until their power is restored to them, mankind is extremely vulnerable. But this is when the old gods, the pre-Vedic gods, who were laid off when the new religions arrived on the scene a few millennia ago and have nursed a grudge ever since, stage a comeback. These were gods of war and devastation whom our distant ancestors worshipped in a time of great turmoil and fear, when people could be exterminated by any number of things: natural phenomena, more powerful tribes, disease. Naturally, they needed warrior gods who could be asked to destroy any threat that appeared. The only problem was that the other tribes worshipped similar gods, so there was a bit of a standoff until new faiths were brought into being by religious geniuses of the time in order to put an end to the bloody cycle of destruction and regeneration that existed. The old gods were abandoned, but this didn't mean they went away. We would not be swayed by the religious ideologues, the mischief makers who threatened our tolerance, pluralism, and stability. That way lay the road to another country, a country bedeviled by obscurantism, hate, and religion gone mad. This despite the violence of partition and the assassination of Gandhi. For what the great men who brought us our freedom did not forget was that India had always been the most plural of countries, a country that contained the world. Our people had come from everywhere. They were descended from Central Asian tribes, Mongol warlords, Portuguese adventurers, Arabian seamen, Chinese travelers, Buddhist princes, Jewish wanderers, British traders, Christian apostles, Macedonian soldiers. And although it hadn't always been easy to adjust, we had managed to do so. I'm reminded here of a story that was told about my own people. When we first landed on the shores of Gujarat, the local ruler didn't want to let us in. His kingdom was already full, and he didn't want his own people to lose their livelihood or have to put up with strange rituals and customs. Our leader asked for a tumbler of milk and a handful of sugar. We dissolved the sugar in the milk and said to the ruler, "This is what we will be like. You will notice, Your Highness, that not a drop of the milk is spilled, but that it is now sweeter and even tastier to drink. We will merge with your society and our Advent will make it better. Thank you. That's my family, the letter began. When this is read out to you, I'll be dead. Thank God. For the last years, I wanted nothing more than to pass on to the next world, and God will have finally granted me my wish. Ramdas paused and then read on. A dying man is supposed to be conciliatory, but I intend to speak my mind. I had withdrawn from the family, and I'm sure there has been speculation about it, and now I'll tell you why. With one or two exceptions, I found my family a burden. When I was young, the sap of life flowed strongly in me. I believed with all the passion at my command that the family of a man was the greatest gift he could possess. But you aren't gathered here to listen to the ramblings of dead man, so I'll dispense with the philosophy quickly, though I'm tempted to go on, as it is one of the many privileges of the recently deceased to command absolute attention, perhaps for an hour, a day, a year, no matter. I know you'll be listening to Ramdas with all the attention he needs. Long after I tried to vanish from the daily world of the living, long after I tried to empty my heart, mind, and soul to grapple with the infinite, I realized that my endeavor would not be wholly successful. We live fully engaged until we die. Pain, meditation, thoughts of God may distract us, but we cannot subtract ourselves entirely from the world until we are dead. And so, while I no longer actively participated in the life of the community or the family, my mind refused to let go. What did I think about? Mostly, I regretted the things I hadn't done. I thought about quarrels that hadn't been resolved. I thought about matters left incomplete. It's one of the paradoxes of life, and it is something that each one of you will discover, that your achievements, your successes, your crowning glories do not matter to you at the end of your life. No, no, no. If I leave you with nothing else, I leave you with this piece of wisdom. It's your regrets that stay with you till you die. And you, my family, whether you like it or not, are one of my regrets. I've often wondered why I slaved for you all my life when I could have lavished more care and attention on myself. As I write these words, I think about the mango that has been our most prized possession for over a century. One fact about it strikes me powerfully, and it is this. No fruit is more beautiful, yet the blue mango has a monstrous flaw. Every season, a tiny insect, the mango fruit fly, lays its eggs beneath the skin of some of the ripening fruits. The eggs hatch and the maggots tunnel through the pulp, eating as they go. From the outside, the mango looks perfectly healthy, but when it is cut open, dark tunnels and headless maggots greet the eye. I do not need to extend the analogy to make my meaning clear. Every family has within it its maggots, greedy, dishonest, ungrateful people whose worst qualities are magnified when they gather together. So, at the end of my life, my picture of Dorepuram is bleak. Outside to the world at large, we're an example of just how a family should be. Inside, the rot is beginning to spread. Thank you.